one set of footprints. Just know he carried the load. Won't leave you forsaken, judge it when you're feeling like hope is gone. See, you tried it your way, but it didn't work. Quit making your own way. Gotta put Jesus first. Stop taking the wrong way to leave off this earth. Look, God is the strong way, so you must know your worth.
This week on Elevated Mindset, the podcast.
But first, message.
Hello. This is Dee. Hello. This is Yvonne. Hello.
It's your girl, Miss Flawless. It's your girl, Miss...
From Elevated Mindset.
Elevated Mindset.
Elevated Mindset, the podcast.
Thank you for subscribing, sharing, and watching.
Also on this week's episode.
Town, community dick, and now you want to get somebody that's younger because they less used. You're used. So you're used up and you want somebody less used up? No, go ahead and get your match.
Most part, almost half dead. She said, get your match, baby. Get your match.
Stick a fork in you. You're done.
Men will play around until they're 50, 60, 70. Ooh, honey bunny. Suck it, ducky, quack.
Also on this week's episode.
We're not willing to become the list of what we want. Ooh.
Okay, Mr. Brown. All right. Boom. Here we go. The list thing. Muscular build, all these things when you only drove past the gym.
I'm the list. I mean, if I'm going to become what I want, then why do I want you?
Also on this week's episode.
Now we have to overlook and allow people to emotionally, physically, sexually, mentally abuse us because we share DNA. And let me tell you.
Wow. So, yeah, it can get real ugly and real funky when it comes to family.
Yeah, family. We share DNA, but we don't have to like them. We don't have to like their ways. Here again, wow, we're getting into some pretty deep stuff.
And counting down 3, 2, 1.
Hey, it's that time again, guys. We hope you guys are ready for some intelligent discussion amplified. Let's give it up for 1/3 of the Elevated Mindset Podcast, Miss Shan, a.k.a. Flawless of the SYA firm. All right. Also for 2/3 of the Elevated Mindset Podcast, Yvonne, the Cheddar Getter Smith of MyBrilliantConcepts.com. And last but definitely not least, the diva herself, D of ARG Realty Group. Y'all, let's go. Buckle up. Get ready for another ride, another highly intelligent discussion amplified episode of Elevated Mindset, the podcast.
Who's ready to elevate? Who's ready to set it straight? Who's ready to talk about the topics up for debate? See, you can't rehearse this. We ain't talking purses. We're talking about breaking those generational curses. For us ladies, it's urgent. Babies running to surgeons.
Come on. Yeah. I'm flawless. Yo, Pastor Troy. Hey, yo. You know what? There's a lot of folks be coming out their grill. They fake. They ain't never keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? None they ever spit in this trill. I say we make them pay. Hey, yo. What you think? You with this? You ready? Let's go.
Everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Elevated Mindset, the podcast where we have highly intelligent discussion amplified on a regular basis. Tonight, me and the ladies are going to be picking apart some of the most interesting reels that we find interesting enough to evoke or provoke us to have a discussion or maybe even a debate about it. And we want to share that with you tonight. So we're going to do that. We're also going to discuss the main meat of our podcast on tonight. Hey,
I know exactly why y'all be sick. Y'all take y'all ass out of town if you want to. Take your ass out the country. Auntie just spit in that bitch. Go ahead, get out the country, get you some of that squeezed cheese sauce. Look at that, right there. Get you some of that wrist sauce. Some of that hand dip. Look, Yeah, I know y'all niggas want a little bite of this. A little footy piece of feet, bitch. Yeah. Dip that in there. Put your hand in the grease. Fuck it. Come on over here. Let me see what y'all finna make today with them dirty ass fingertips. That nigga just made a bowl of doodle balls. What's this? Okay, we got them peppers. Okay, a little pepper, a little ham. No gloves. The t-shirt old. Come on. Give me a bowl of it. Fuck it. Oh. Wipe your mouth on it. Okay. Okay, that's some mashed up. What the fuck are you making? I don't want it no more.
Ladies, oh my. So this story for me, a lot of it probably holds true, but being a world traveler as I am, as you ladies know, that's why you have to eat at places that are mandated, ones that are regularly checked, and they have rules to follow, kind of like in the States. So you can't just be in the country mingling with the locals and eating their cuisine because this is what they're used to. And if you notice in that video, most of the people that are standing around waiting for them to finish with that food so that, they can be served are people from that particular region or country. They all look like the people that are preparing food. So they're used to it and they all prepare it the same. And yes, you absolutely will get sick when you're eating stuff like that that's not monitored by some government entity of some sort. They do not follow the same rules as we do in the US. So the truth is you have to know what you're eating, and you have to eat at places that are established dining places that are regulated. Just stick to what's familiar, and chances are you will minimize your chances of getting sick, because the only time that we ate off resort or, with a local was when we had a cooking class in Africa, in Ghana, and we did our research, and she was well respected. She had a lot of followers. She had a lot of great reviews, people that took her cooking class. And so we cooked with her. So we were hands-on. She was clean. We picked our own groceries. We helped her prepare it. We washed it. We cleaned it. And everything she did was clean. And so we were good. Neither one of us got sick. So yeah, just a little bit of hopefully helpful information for those of you that travel. Just kind of stick to what's regulated if you can.
Oh my goodness, D. I got to come behind you on that. I mean, just looking at the video just made my stomach turn. Yes, 1,000%. You have to be careful where you eat. Not just take it another further, that even here in the States, right, locally, right, where we go and we eat, we still need to do some research and check them reviews, check how they're doing, and even keep up with the reviews, right? Because it's good that we have standards, so-called standards in the U.S., and people going out and checking and reinforcing those standards, making sure these people are adhering to the guidelines of cleanliness and sanitary procedures and all of that, so people don't get sick. But we got to keep up with that stuff, right? And I think that whether you're traveling abroad, or you're traveling to another state, another city, or you're just selecting a place to go and dine, it does behoove us to plan, do some preparation, right? And get some intel on the establishment where we're going to partake and eat. And then even then, when you arrive, you got to do your visual inspection, right? Because, you just never know. You just have to be so observant. But yeah, I'm all for traveling abroad, being very, very careful if you're eating off resort, and even eating on resort, like being careful with what water you drink, like drinking bottled water, because, the organisms in other regions, you're not exposed to that stuff, and, you can get sick in an instant. So we do have to take precautions, but nah, I'll pass on that. Thank you.
I'm with you, Yvonne. Listen, I just came back from the States, quiet as it's kept. And let's just say I didn't feel the best the first 2 days after I got back. So this nastiness can not only happen across seas or across country, it happens within the state. So D, you're so right. You have to vet these places, Yvonne. You're so right. You have to do your due diligence, do your reviews. It's some places right around you, honey, that has 26 scores and 48 Fs. Trust me, some very, very, very prominent, well-known restaurants. Do your homework, people. You can pull them up because it's public information. I know of one that just was closed down immediately when they got a 48, and they worked a few hours and they reopened the restaurant right back up. So they gave them the opportunity to bring that score up. So you'll be surprised at the foolishness and the nastiness that goes on in some of these places. I remember one particular place, Popeyes. Let's just say what it is. And I used to go through this drive-through all the time because it was just, you know how we are. It's more convenient. So I would run through that drive-through. But this particular day, the line was a little long. So I said, Psalms, let's just get out and go in. It's probably faster. So we get out, go in. People, ladies. The cook was standing in pieces of chicken around his feet, flour all over the floor, and I want to say that the score was a 70-something. And this when they was first starting to get into the whole hype of, making people have their food scores pronounced and posted. It seemed like they're taking a back step on that for some reason. I don't know what that is about, but I was loving that. Whatever's going on, y'all need to keep that active and keep that posted because this food thing is serious. And like he said, look at Auntie, she just spit in it. I mean, listen, you just don't know. I mean, that's why I'm so big on the hibachi. I want to see you, the hibachi grilling. I mean, I want to see what you're doing. I want to be able to look at you. What you doing to my food? It's getting real out here. It's been real. And like I said, I just came back from the States and I felt a little unsettled. I mean, and that's only because of, I think, one particular meal, and everything after that, I had to have something that I definitely knew that was familiar. I needed to know that you've passed through and that I eat here regularly. But yeah, all this foreign food, and I don't mean that in terms of, no pun intended, I mean it's foreign as into something I don't know, something strange to me. I have to definitely vet that. So do your homework, people. Don't just be out here picking up these greasy spoons and eating anywhere. And, personally, this is just something I do. I don't even eat off other people's silverware. That's just my thing. If you have a goodie pack, and a lot of people don't know what a goodie pack is, but a goodie pack is when they give you that pack with the fork, spoon, knife, sometimes salt and pepper, and a little napkin in it. That's a goodie pack, people. You're welcome. That's a goodie pack. So even without that, just a plastic fork or a plastic spoon or plastic knife or whatever you're eating, trust me, it can be cut. It can be stuck and it can be scooped with that plasticware. I only use cutlery that comes from my house that I know I washed. I mean, cutlery, they wash it in really, really hot water. That's really cool. But it goes in several mouths a day. I'm good on that, So it's just a tip for me. But you definitely have to do your due diligence and do your homework. Don't just be out here eating this funky food because y'all see it. You seen it.
I told some ladies one time in this deal, Women Evolve, I think it was. I said, let me show y'all how to find the perfect husband. And of course, a room full of ladies like, woo! He finna tell me, and they start pulling and pulling and pulling. Yeah. I said, I need you to make a list of everything that you want him to be. Make a list. Everything I want his credit score to be 850. I want him to be making $200,000 a year. He got to have his own house. I want him to be well groomed. He got to be well rounded. I say, make everything on that list that you want in a person. Do it. Put it all on there, everything, and become the list. See, we're not willing to become the list of what we want. Ooh. See, you just want a bunch of stuff, but you're not willing to become a bunch of stuff.
The surprise of how I got you, like make a list and then become the list. I think that's played. Becoming the list is like becoming the man, right? And I don't think that should be your objective necessarily, to make a list of who you want and then become that list. I think your list about becoming is about becoming more authentically yourself, first of all, and being in pursuit of whatever it is, your own evolution. Now, in terms of a mate, your mate should be resonating. The list that you're making or the things that you're looking for should be resonating on the frequency you on, where you can authentically move in, that you can converse in, that you can operate with ease, that you can understand and comprehend, and that you can flow and bend and dip. And it's nothing strange for you because you're solid and you plan it on that level, right? And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with wanting something more or better than what you have. But the problem with the whole more thing and making these demands about what the other person need to make sure they have is that if you're not on that level, if you don't have enough built-in value for yourself, if you don't have enough insight, wisdom, and experience from that level, how you gonna maintain that relationship? You can't. So I'm not so much about targeting a list to get somebody else as much as you need to tap into you, and you need to be more vibrant, and you need to evolve and elevate and explore yourself. But share yourself, right? And what I mean by that is getting out and doing and exposing so that you can circulate with those people that's on that frequency. And then you have the more opportunity to connect with those that are on your frequency. And I think the problem is a lot of times we still focusing on the external things, what it looked like, what we think it sound like, and they're really not on our frequency because they ain't doing none of the stuff that we're doing, or we're not doing none of the stuff that they're doing. And how is that supposed to mesh and match, right? So that would be my shift. Like, focus on you and then get out there and just be vivacious and be into what you into and do what you do, right? And that's your lane. Be in your lane. And the things appropriate to your lane, the things along the way you're going to see, the intersections you're going to see in your lane is for you. And I think that there is much to be said about, just reciprocity, right, in relationships. Like, there's been so much circulating, so much energy put into, he need to be making six figures and a high value man and this and that, and a man's supposed to take care of this and that. I think, we've gotten way too dogmatic on all of these requirements. And granted, there are some things that validate you or kind of certify you to being capable to participate productively in a relationship, right? But I think what's overlooked so much is what the two people bring to the relationship and what their composition is and where they are in life and what have they agreed to focus on as the priorities of their life, which would dictate who's doing what and how, or at least set the parameters around this is what we're going to negotiate with, and this is how I can best help here because this is my strength, and this is how I can best help there because this is my strength, and this is how because I got the insight and the knowledge and the know-how or the experience to do, this is how I can share it with you. And you know what? Yeah, I understand that. And hey, let me add my 2 cents in. So being a collaborator, being a good communicator, being a good listener, all the while you're a person of value and you got all these wonderful things about you that you're giving and pouring in, and nobody's undervaluing or overvaluing the contributions, that you're on the same page and on the same frequency as this is what it takes for us to make this work. And it requires everybody to be authentic and tell the truth about what's fulfilling. This works for me. This don't work for me. And as a foundation, you got to be able to communicate that. And, you don't do things by surprise. Surprise, I wanted you to cut my steak like I'm 2 or something. I heard some girl complaining on some other video talking about she was mad. How come they don't make men like that? No, first of all, you grown. Second of all, did you establish that as a requirement? Did you establish that as, hey, babe, I would really appreciate it if, hey, babe, I would appreciate it. Could you? Can you? And just even being able to ask that, But even beyond all of that, there should be reciprocity. You shouldn't be expecting somebody to take on their back all of your burdens and your problems and your issues. It should be reciprocity, right? It should be a reciprocal thing, not tit for tat, but making life ebb and flow and getting in where you fit in and not being, you got to wait till a coach tap you and say, oh, go run this play, that you are conscious and you're aware of what's happening in a relationship. So I think those things are important. Reciprocity, being aware, being self-aware, right? Being aware of what you're supposed to be doing and where you're supposed to be at or what's happening, so I think all of those things, when you're talking about keeping, a man or a woman, those things are requirement. It's not just you gonna catch something, because anybody can get hooked up with somebody, but it's a matter of, do you want to waste your time or you want to do something that's worthwhile? You want to build something and you want to be with somebody of value and that is focused on you and focused on working and collaborating with you. Just my 10 cents. Anyway.
Wow. Yeah, so I do agree with some of your thoughts, Yvonne, and I think I see where Mr. Brown is coming from, and I completely agree with him for the simple reason that Jeff and I we talk about that regularly, because we would listen to Keith Samuels, and from my perspective, I see how women want in a mate, they want all of these different things, and they're not there yet. So it's one of those things where you can't expect a guy to bring all these things to the table and you're bringing absolutely nothing. So yeah, being one with yourself, evolving, knowing who you are, walking in your purpose and doing your thing, all the things that you're doing, of course you want a mate to align with those things, but don't make a list that you want a man with a high credit score, a six-figure salary and, 6 feet, muscular build, all these things, when you only drove past a gym or you work at this certain place. Don't set your expectations so high where you're not willing to be that expectation yourself. So yeah, you have to know who you are from the inside out. You have to stand on who you are, and then you can prepare a list. The list that you make should be the list of who you are, so you won't have to become it. You're just looking for that. That way you're both on the same frequency. You're both high vibrating people instead of low vibrating. And so to his point, when you make that list, instead of becoming that list, you should already be that list. So if you put something on that list that you are not, then I agree with him. Become that which you are not, if that's what you're looking for in somebody else.
I have to be 100% honest. I do not agree with that at all. That's so not how I see things and how I think things should be. Do not get me wrong. In terms of people kind of meshing with some equality in terms of finances in some way, shape, form, or fashion, I do feel like things should kind of level or average out to some degree. But I definitely don't think that should take precedent over, the dynamics of a relationship in terms of a man and a woman. I'm old-fashioned in that sense, and I do know with the whole liberated woman, I'm one myself, or I like to feel that I'm one. But with the new liberated woman and us being outside of what the whole old school realms held for that, meaning, we were a little more submissive, a little more, home, taking care of home type things, that woman hardly exists anymore, right? So everybody's out getting it and making things happen, and I'm all for that, I'm definitely all for that. I just feel like there should be a balance with that. A woman that's still able to do those things and take care of home and cook home, cook meals and just be that caretaker, that to me is what it's all about, so those dynamics still have to be in place, and not so much focus on, become the list. I mean, if I'm going to become what I want, then why do I want you? That may be a little cliche for some people, but for me, it makes plenty of sense. If I gotta become that, then what makes me. Now, of course, they always said this thing about opposites attract, but we know in this day and age, you're attracted to what you're attracted to. But here's the thing, the dynamics are there, the things that that need to be communicated about, the things that need to be hashed out, right, spoken about. When it comes to that type of thing, I think, people need to have that type of conversation. If you want to know what a person's credit score is, whenever the comfortability comes for you to ask that question, then you should ask that. If you want to know what their status is, if you want to know exactly what they expect out of you or exactly what they're looking for, those questions should be asked. But I don't want to have to be in a position where I'm trying to be exactly those things that I am looking for in another person. Now, I do feel like I need to be able to counteract when that person asks me the questions in terms of what they're looking for. And I don't want to just give the answers that I feel like they need just because they laid that out and said that's what they're looking for. I want to be 100% transparent, as everyone should. But again, I don't want to become exactly what I'm looking for. That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't need that to be evenly yoked in that way. We just need to have some good understanding and communication about what it is. As Yvonne said, I'm good in this area. I can take care of this over here. That's my niche, because sometimes two people come together and make things really happen. And all of those things start to evolve and grow in the process anyway. But just coming into the door and feeling like we need to, I need to have, that's taken away from everything that should be. That's the problem right now, in my opinion. That's the problem that kills the focus. So I'm so not with that.
Yes, she's got a way with words. Yes, she's got a way with words.
Here, kitty, kitty. These are some of the very words that some of these dudes should use when they hit ladies with the line, "Hey, they're pretty." Playing a gentleman in disguise. Suave, smooth talking tactics are what he applies upon his first approach, but you couldn't even see his eyes because his eyes was focused on your breasts and thighs and yours on his 745. You had a quick future visual of you being by his side, picturing yourself on his arm as he show you off as his prize. Here, kitty, kitty.
I ain't letting no old take the life out of me. No, I'm not doing it.
Why?
You went to hoe around in your 20s and your 30s, now you're 50 and you single because you was hoeing around all around town, community dick, and now you want to get somebody that's younger because they less used. You're used. So you're used up and you want somebody less used up? No, go ahead and get your match. They be out here, they be having several baby mothers, several kids, but want a girl with no kids. No, get your match.
Oh my goodness, ladies, listen, I'm with you, Yvonne. When you said that all goes back to staying in your lane, yes, Lord, stay in your lane. And she is absolutely correct, because men will play around until they're 50, 60, 70. And then when they're old and at the point where they need somebody to help care for them, they're convalescent for the most part, almost half dead. Then they want to settle down with, somebody that's 20, 30, 40. No, bruh. You wasn't checking for them when you were out doing any and everything. Now you want to settle down and that's what you want. You don't want anybody used. And I'm with her. You're used. Like, don't you think women want something that's gently used as well? So you can't just be all used and abused. And like she said, community D, and then come and expect to find a woman that's as pure as the driven snow, with no kids, with no baggage. You got baggage. You're used. So, you attract who you are for the most part. So get it together, bruh.
and stay in your lane.
She not whip out the belt like Pootie Tang. She said, get your match, baby. Get your match. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me calm down. But I get what she's saying. You done been run all through, and now you want to settle down and you want something that's nice and pristine and undriven for you. Oh my goodness. Oh, did she put him in perspective? Like, boo, no. Get your match, baby. So she can have her match, And it goes back to, being in your lane. Anyway, it just tickled me so much because it's facts. Yes, it is. And it is. And get your match, sir.
So, yeah, I'm with that young lady. I'm with that young lady too, Yvonne. I'm with that young lady too, D. You need to find your match. As D said, you do get all, but you're about half dead, and then you want to get about decrepit, and you want to come find this old, nice, old tight, never been touched, unscathed, and you've been community D and ran through, and you figure because you're a certain age, nobody can't check on your roster, but you can be checked upon. You're done. Stick a fork in you. You're done. No, but seriously, yeah. I agree with the young lady. Find your niche, you know what I mean? Or don't just be so particular about something like you just ain't, like you untouched, because y'all do run around here and want the little youngest thing in the place, or want a girl that still got milk on her breath, as my late uncle used to say, may God rest my Uncle Theory's soul. But hey, find your match. Find your niche, You can look at yourself in the mirror. What you think you're supposed to get? Right.
Today on Elevated Mindset News in the Atlanta area. On Elevated Mindset News that you can use, we want to shed some light on a wonderful young man that is doing a great thing. 17-year-old Elijah is a Marietta Scout troop from Troop 2700. He created Keep Calm kits that are called Mia. Mia is actually his baby sister, who is 14 years old. So his little sister, let's just say his little sister. She is 14 years old, and Mia has autism. Elijah created these kits, these Keep Calm kits, for police to be able to interact with special needs kids. This is a wonderful thing that this young man has done. Many people, many parents worry about their children being stopped, even their children who do not have special needs. They worry about the interaction between their children and police. So you can only imagine how a parent with a special needs child would feel in case of an emergency, or you had to be stopped in regards of the interaction that will happen with the police. So this is a great thing that 17-year-old Elijah has done, creating Mia, which are Keep Calm kits. Elijah was able to provide 50 Marietta policemen with these kits. So this is a great thing, a great start. So I want you guys to look this up. I'm going to leave the link on this particular episode so you can follow this. I want you to follow this guy, support this young man in anything that he can do, because this can be a big movement for many people that always have had a concern about that. I can wholeheartedly relate, and I just wanted to give a wonderful shout out to 17-year-old Elijah, who created, again, Mia, named after his 14-year-old sister who has autism. They are Keep Calm kits for police to be able to interact with special needs kids. So y'all definitely follow up on this. I think this is a great thing. So we wanted to definitely give a shout out to Elijah from us here at Elevated Mindset, the podcast. Elijah, keep doing great things. We are very, very proud of you. Coming up also on this week's episode.
And people always look at me like I'm crazy. I don't have a problem detaching from DNA. Mother, sister, father, brother, if we don't gel, we don't gel. There's this misconception that just because we're family, that we have to overlook and allow people to emotionally, physically, sexually, mentally abuse us because we share DNA. And let me tell you, as a life coach and as a person, I know that is not true. And you don't have to suffer with people, even your own children. You don't have to suffer with people who don't make you feel good just because we have the same DNA. And be clear that there's a difference between relatives and family.
Oh yeah, ladies. Deep, but true. So many of us can relate to what she's saying. We have relatives that would rather see us fail than to see us succeed and be a part of it. You know, we can absolutely love our relatives, family, because we share DNA, but we don't have to like them. We don't have to like their ways. And, you know, once you find your peace, let me say that again. Once you find your peace, there is nothing like your peace, and you are more than willing to cut ties with people, no matter who they are, no matter where they fall in the bloodline, whether they're in the bloodline or not. You are willing to cut ties to preserve your peace, because there's nothing like it once you find it. And, you know, I heard somewhere or read somewhere that, you know, people that are related to you, blood relatives, will drive 1,000 miles or fly 1,000 miles to somebody's funeral, but will not walk across the street to support you in what you're doing. And that is so very true, unfortunately. And, you know, some of it may be because of generational curses, what we've been taught, what we've been learned, that we have to love no matter what. Yes, we do have to love no matter what, but we don't have to like, and we don't have to deal with stuff that, you know, brings us down or makes us feel bad, because domestic abuse not only happens between, you know, couples, it happens with families too. And it could be emotional, it could be verbal. You know, abuse is abuse, and, you know, it's not okay, and you do not have to take it. So I wholeheartedly agree with her, and no, you are not crazy. It happens.
That can be a very deep cut, very deep situation right there, right? When we don't necessarily agree, and you know, we have clash and collision. I think that, you know, you mentioned about, you know, I love you, but I don't like you. And I feel like, you know, with love has a mantle of responsibility that I'm gonna be a good steward with my energy towards you and whatever I do with and for you. And that includes holding you accountable. So, you know, we all experience our family life from our own perspective, even though we have siblings and the same situation went on in the same house at the same time, but we had two separate eyes, separate ears, a different heart. You know, everybody was in their own space experiencing these situations as we came up, and it affected us differently. You know, and so many people that, you know, have siblings and they're completely opposite and completely different. So some choose to grow, some choose to stay stagnant, some choose to continue to stay and stew in their dysfunction. And you know what I say? That's your right to do. But I'm going to love you from over here, you know, because I done figured out what my boundaries is, and I'm enforcing my self-care. And there's certain things I ain't going for. Now, if you like it, I love it for you over there. You know, and that's just what we have to do, especially once you get to a certain point and you mature and you realize, you know, hey, I'm not going back and forth with whatever it is. We're going to agree to disagree. And you know what? I'm going to release it, and I'm going to blow the breath of kindness on you and release you to your own recognizances. But I'm going to need you to do it over in your square over there. And that's the best I can do for you. And I think, you know, that's healthy, because we can't control what other people do. And that includes, you know, the people closest to us, our family members. You know, everybody has their own idea and opinion of what they think ought to be and what not ought to be. And it's like, yeah, well, you can do that. Everybody got an opinion. Everybody got their perspective. But you live how you want to live, but you're not going to enforce that on me. I don't have to tolerate, especially if I feel like it's dysfunction. I don't have to tolerate that dysfunction, and I wouldn't expect you to tolerate mine. So over there, I'm over here. Have a happy life, okay? I love you. Bye.
Family, it can get real ugly and real funky. I know myself, I hate to do any cutting off, especially when it comes to family. But as my mom always say, nobody can hurt you like your family. And what I always felt she means or meant by that, or means, because my mom is clearly still here, praise God, hallelujah, is that when you're wronged or you're backstabbed or you're talked about or you're ridiculed or whatever the case may be, not spoken to or overlooked, and it's done by family, it hits a lot different. It hit way different than it does if it comes from a stranger, a colleague, or a coworker, or a so-called friend, or whatever you want to call it. It just hits way different when it's family. So, family, it gets a little more delicate when it comes to situations, even though you would think that would be the more tougher situation. The blood is thicker than water and nobody comes before family, but we all have been through some situations and have found out that that's not always necessarily true, right? And it hurts. It hurts when you find that out. But as the young lady said, and as you mentioned, Yvonne, and as you even mentioned, Dee, things are what they are, and you have to do what you got to do. As they say, it is what it is, and we hate to take that approach because I'm a real diehard on wanting family to work no matter what happens, because we're going to have fights. You're going to have gripes, disagreements. I mean, we're human, right? We're all subject to error. So things are going to happen, but I believe in a strong fight and trying to work as hard as I can with whoever it is that's involved to find some type of resolution. I feel like there's always a resolution. There's always some common ground. And as you mentioned, Yvonne, just finding a way to agree to disagree. But some people welcome dysfunction and toxicity, and they're fine with that. And if that be the case, I'm getting tongue tied. In most situations, then you have to choose yourself. You have to choose peace. You have to choose tranquility, and you have to keep it moving, because sometimes people take every ounce of what you have in you out of you, just trying to work on a situation or trying to fix it. And it takes more than one person to work on something. It takes more than one level of understanding, more than one meeting of the mind, because it's a meeting of the minds. So that means that two people got to have one that equates to some understanding of some sort, because it all matters. And so sometimes you have to detach or cut off a family permanently, unfortunately. So yeah, it is what it is. Deep one.
Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, against the white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got.
Do you still want to be a chef?
Yes.
Why?
I won't give up on my career.
What?
I won't give up on my career.
You sure you want to be a chef?
Yes.
Why?
I don't say something and then I end up doing nothing. I don't do that. People like me don't do that.
People like you, what you mean?
I mean, children like me.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, what?
We don't give up.
Oh.
We try and try.
Give me a high
I mean, this girl doesn't give up. We keep trying.
Yes.
So we get it, and then we start a new life and do it.
Wow.
And we're gonna win the trophy. We're gonna take this up a notch.
My girl. Thanks, Imari. Thanks. Do you still want to be a chef?
Yes.
Why?
I won't give up on my career.
What?
I won't give up on my career.
You sure you want to be a chef?
Yes.
Why?
I don't say something and then I end up doing nothing. I don't do that. People like me don't do that.
People like you, what you mean?
I mean, children like me.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, what?
We don't give up.
Oh.
And we try.
Give me a high five.
This girl doesn't give up. Keep trying
Yes.
until we get it, and then we start a new life and do it.
Wow.
And we're gonna win the trophy.
Mm.
We're gonna take this up a notch.
Michael. Thanks, Imari. Thanks.
Pressure is my thing. I wanna tell you. Take it down to the head, playing Russian roulette, baby.
I'm wearing the tank, y'all. Hope y'all having a wonderful day. Oh, I'm wearing my angel wings too, with my crystal and pearl Chanel. Check me out, y'all. And I got my legacies on. Can y'all see that? Beautiful. I'm sparkling, y'all. You can get sparkle too. Hit me up.
An elevated mindset is an empowered state of higher thinking which ultimately shapes how you make sense of the world and yourself. The influence of how you think, act, and feel in any given situation is an impact of one's success or failure. So always operate with an elevated mindset.
We all know in our mind that there ought to be a time that we can set aside to show just how much we love you. And I'm sure you would agree, what could fit more perfectly than to have a world party on the day you came to be. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Who's ready to elevate? Who's ready to set it straight? Who's ready to talk about the topics up for debate? See, you can't rehearse this. We ain't talking purses. We're talking about breaking those generational curses. For us ladies, it's urgent. Babies running to surgeons, wanting fixed in a hurry. In the fog, they're blurry. Men keeping us worried. Tables are topsy-turvy. Wanting ladies to save them and ladies to mess.
And I set you apart.